Right, saka vanogona kubvunza began to ask the question. Iwewe rutendo daka rako na Strive nderei? You keep criticizing Strive, you criticize Econet. Why do you keep criticizing the most powerful man in Zimbabwe who has benefited Zimbabwe so much? Arukukutuma ndiani? Are you jealous? Are you trying to bring down another black man? Well, it's not even about hatred. It's not about trying to bring down a black man. It's not even about Strive or Econet. The issue is about holding power to account. You see, in every nation, there are mechanisms, institutions, and methods to hold powerful people to account. Our president is held to account by parliament. Our parliamentarians are held to account by parliament, the media, the judiciary, and civil society groups. But the question that you must ask yourself is, when you've got powerful capital owners, powerful people who control information, money, who holds those people to account because they are not in parliament? Who holds them to account in a nation in which our judiciary is not impartial, and it favors those with money, not for Zimbabwe's national interests, but for individual interests? Our media is afraid of people with money because they want to be given money by those people, so they cannot hold them to account. So the question is, who holds these powerful people to account? Saka, this is why you see people like me rising up through a voice, bringing consciousness to the minds of Zimbabweans, so that we start holding these people who've got capital and power to account, to us as the public of Zimbabwe, to us as the people that have actually given them the money that has grown them. Now for me, what is even more interesting is that Strive Masiwa is the most powerful man in Zimbabwe. But a lot of people don't know that. And a lot of people are quick to say to me, how can Strive be the most powerful person in Zimbabwe when he doesn't have an army like the president and he doesn't have a police force? Well, what you didn't know is this. Strive Masiwa belongs to the Council on Foreign Relations. It is a very powerful institution that advances America's national interest and America's foreign policy. It is also an institution that is used by the world's biggest capital owners to advance capital interests for a one world order. Strive sits on that. So that means that he has access to the United States military power. He has access to the power of a superpower, access to AFRICOM assets that are here in Africa, and access to the power that resides in the biggest embassy in Africa, that is in Zimbabwe. Strive Masiwa is backed up by those guys. And to advance this even further, he sits on the Rockefeller Foundation and the Ford Foundation. For those of you who don't know, the Rockefeller Foundation is one of the most powerful foundations in the world that advances American corporate interests and the interests of American monopoly and domination. And in this particular regard, the Rockefeller Foundation has sent Strive through AGRA, an organization of his that is in agriculture, to advance the Greening Revolution campaign, where their agenda is to go into poor countries and hybridize the seeds of those poor countries. Encourage our grandmothers and grandfathers and villagers to give the traditional seeds that they used to use and exchange them for hybrid seeds that cannot reproduce, so that they can go and buy new seeds every single season from American biotech companies, majority of which are and belong to the Rockefellers. They also want these hybrids because the hybrids and the GMOs need fertilizers that also come from Rockefeller and his companies. This is the agenda that Strive is now advancing on the African continent. He is one of the most powerful men on the African continent who works in this institution called AGRA, in which Kofi Annan used to be Mampela Rampela, together with himself, to hybridize and make GMOs of seeds in Africa and take away traditional seeds so that Africans can become indebted to a pay-as-you-go system for seeds and to grow their food. This Rockefeller Foundation also gives Strive power. But with that, Strive controls banking. He controls the movement of money. He controls information and data in Zimbabwe and the gateway for such data through Econet and through Liquid. This makes him more powerful, with a more powerful intelligence system than that which the president of Zimbabwe has got access to. It probably makes him the most powerful man on the African continent after the Oppenheimers and the Ruperts. So a lot of you Zimbabweans don't know this because you don't read. And because a man carries a Bible, you believe in him. Yet the man is a Freemason. He's sitting on the Council on Foreign Relations, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, supping with what are called the 13 satanic bloodlines. You Zimbabweans don't know it because you don't read. You worship people. You are so religious that you don't ask questions. This is a man that has gone into institutions like Christ Embassy, destroyed Christ Embassy, resulted in a divorce in Christ Embassy. He left. He's now in AFM, or at least his money through Capernaum Trust is in AFM, and AFM is now having infighting. The Rockefeller Foundation also funds people to go into religious organizations to destroy religious organizations. This is information that is in the public domain if you read. So that's why people like me have to speak. Because now I'm seeing this very powerful man who controls intelligence, data, banking, who has got the United States government behind him, starting to get close to our president. He's starting to make donations. His wife is on the ground. She's talking nonsense on Twitter. And then they're getting close to Mnangagwa so that Mnangagwa can tell him if he's got a green light to come home, and his indiscretions and those things in the past that made him leave Zimbabwe have been forgotten. But I would like to warn my president. Mnangagwa, that man Anonzi Strive is more powerful than you. And the people that he's dealing with do not want you in power because they don't trust you. They believe that you still got the ZANU-PF colonial agenda with you. If you allow Strive to come close to the political system, allow him to use his money in ZANU-PF to buy people, and allow him to continue to have the impunity that he's had in the judicial system, he's the man who he's the only man that has the power to remove you and ZANU-PF from power. Saka to be careful. So some people have said that no, Rutendo, ana na Mawere, ana na Daniel Shumba. No. Wana Daniel Shumba katonzwa ndichitaura. And when I was speaking, Daniel Shumba's story was able to come to the forefront because of what I was saying. Daniel Shumba was considered by many people as insane when he says that Strive Masiwa stole my shares. Daniel Shumba was considered by many people as not being okay in the head. But when I started speaking, people listened, people asked questions, people did their own research. It gave Daniel Shumba a voice. And that's why now Daniel Shumba speaks to me. Akatotanga kutotaura oneni anzwa ma videos ma voice notes angu. Akati mfana wami, you are making me sound like a person Ari saying. You are giving me credibility because all along but people were not listening. I'm just a voice of a common man, no power, no connections, no contacts, but I love Zimbabwe. And my love for Zimbabwe makes me speak so that we hold people to account. Now, I'm not saying Daniel Shumba is right. I'm not saying that the allegations that are against Strive are correct. He might be innocent, but I'm saying he's so powerful that he needs to be tested through the court system. He needs to be held accountable to answer to allegations so that we know if Zimbabweans are not being taken for a ride. But the man is powerful. And as Zimbabweans, we need to be careful of such kind of power. It is not local power. He's got global power. But he's got the power of the Illuminati. He's got the power of people that do not have the interests of other human beings. They don't have the interests of equality and justice, but domination. So please,